Hello! Good morning, everybody. I suppose it's not actually the morning. Okay. Just gonna pop out the chat so I can see it properly. There we go. Alright. And we're back, as we say. Let's just double check that everything's good. Alright. Looks like it. Okay. Well, it is Saturday, the 18th of March, 2023, and we are going to be looking at the games that came out on Steam on Friday, March 17th, 2023. And also, we're going to be looking at the games from the previous month, also on the 17th. I'm going to bid good morning / early afternoon to Lost Sock Studio, who has showed up in the chat, as well as Cici and Josuke. Good morning, everybody. Let's see, any format changes? Yes, we have one format change, which is for a review today for the games that came out last month that we're going to be looking at again. We are getting into the point where I started putting in a range of values and also guessing directly in terms of numbers of reviews and not in terms of estimated sales numbers. So now we get ranges of values, so that'll be interesting to see whether or not I am actually in the range of values in terms of my estimates. And spoiler alert, the answer is mostly no. I'm like really not estimating particularly well. And unfortunately, most of my failures in estimation are overestimates, because mostly for games that just didn't sell anything. If you've noticed recently, in the last couple of weeks, whenever a game comes out and has no sales in 24 hours, my low estimate is always 0 nowadays, because if you get no reviews in 24 hours, it is extremely likely that you will just not get any sales of any kind. And at least at this point, I had only started doing reviews, so this was last month on the 17th, so I had only been doing reviews for 3 days at this point, which means that my estimations at that point were untested, let's say. Well, yeah, we'll go with untested. I had not realized the extent to which low first day sales are an indicator that you are in serious trouble. So we're actually going to start with the games from last month, and we'll go through those because those don't usually take very long. We have quite a few of them. We have 75 of those, but surprisingly, this week we don't have very many games for yesterday. We only have 35 of them. Actually, I think we even have less because some of those were red lights. We only have one red light. So yeah, looking forward to that. We got some VR games. We got a Half-Life 2 VR mod. That'll be interesting. But for now, we're going to go over the games from last month, and we will check my work. We're going to start with Airy VR Broken Memories. And we'll scoot this down. There we go. It's okay. I know what I'm doing, Google. What is this one? Oh, right. This is a little flying VR game. I only very vaguely remember this one, but yes, you're sort of flying with a little bird or as a little bird. My estimates for this one were between 0 and 10, and it just got 0, unfortunately. It looks like this game showed up, nobody looked at it, and it dropped like a rock, which is a pity. Alright. We're going to move on to our next game, which is Ages of Conflict, the World War Simulator. Right. Right. This is almost a kind of sand grain warfare simulator. I do remember this game. It was very weird. I think they've replaced their trailer because I don't remember this trailer being as clear about what was going on. I remember this game being much more confusing at the time. But it was doing pretty well. It had I don't think it was no, it wasn't an early access game. Yeah, it was doing pretty well. It had 85 reviews day of. My guesses were it would get between 200 and 600, and I was pretty right there. It was in range. It has ended up with about 350, so it's made somewhere in the $60,000 to $70,000 range. I hope this game keeps doing well, because it seems like it's working for the people who like it, right? It's got overwhelmingly positive and or very positive, not quite overwhelmingly positive, but yeah, it's doing pretty good. Our next game is Aircraft Infinity, which was this little space shooter. Right. It had 3 reviews day of. My guess was that it would stay at 3. I thought that maybe the 3 reviews were a little suspicious, I think, because they were quite weird little reviews. But I was incorrect. It got all the way up to 5. So they have made somewhere in the range of $200 off this. I am frankly still surprised because of how incredibly basic this game is. So a little confused there. All right. Our next game was one that I didn't actually review on stream because it got incorrectly flagged as a red light game. So this one got incorrectly flagged as a red light game. It's not a red light game. I think for some reason a lot of RPG Maker games end up getting flagged with like nudity or sexual content, even if they don't have any. So, anyways, this is this little walking around puzzle game, I think, but I think it's mostly like going to places and doing like fetch quests. It had no reviews day of, and I think that may have been because it got flagged as red light. Like a lot of people do not have red light on in Steam, so they just don't see it. I estimated quite high for this one, between 7 and 27. I do not know why, because it only ended up getting 2. So I overestimated this one quite considerably. And with 2 reviews, it has made somewhere in the range of $1,000, which is kind of a pity because I think this one's kind of a heartbreaker. It looks like someone spent quite a lot of time on this one. Yeah, bit of a bummer. Our next game is Alien on the Radar. I have no memories of this place at all. Wow, yeah. I do not remember this. It appears to be a game where you're a little dude walking around with a gun, and then Marines win, despite the fact that... Okay, it's a multiplayer Marines versus Aliens game, I guess? All right. Anyway, it had 1 review day of. I guess it would get between 1 and 2, and it got 2. So hey, estimates for me. This game has made somewhere in the range of $400. All right. Very weird capsule image, difficult to read text, impossible to decipher whatever this is. The pixel, like the pixel ratio does not match there at all. Very, very bad capsule, I would say. Like, surprisingly bad capsule. All right. Next game is Aqua Horror. Ooh, that's not correct. Come on. Aqua Horror. Huh. Okay, having trouble remembering this one too. You can run around at the bottom of a lake and then get eaten by fish, I guess. All right. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would get to 1 or 2, and it did not. It is still at 1, so, or it's still at 0, so just did not do anything. Very, very strange little game there. All right. Moving on to Bakeborough. Oh man, it's talking about strange games. This is the really, really weird muffin person game where you like collect organs. Just extremely strange. You can take out your own eyes and then you're blind. Really, really very weird game. I hope the people who made it like got what they wanted out of it, because it was very, very strange. Yes, this one was very memorable. Yes, definitely Josuke. I 100% remember this one as well. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would get between 3 and 33. I thought that the weirdness would attract people or get some attention. So I'm guessing they didn't do much in the way of marketing on this one, because they just they dropped like a rock. They only got 1 review. So That's a bummer. Good morning, Nomata. Hi. We're looking at Bakeboro, this very, very strange muffin organ harvest simulator. Just bananas. Man, I would like to talk to those people, preferably at a distance, or somewhere with easy escape routes. Moving on to beef jerky. I don't remember this one. I think this is a little pixel horror game. I think. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Okay. So, little pixel horror game. Can't remember very much about this one. It had 2 reviews day of. It's gotten up to 5. I was estimating between 4 and 20, so I was thinking it would do better, but it's done okay-ish in terms of sales. It still never got out of under 10 review hell. Yeah, kind of a pity on this one, because it looks like they had something there. All right, moving on to the next one, which is called Birth. Oh, I remember this one too, because of the sort of striking art style here, where everybody are these sort of little hollow-eyed mouse people, and you're building critters out of bones and organs. We had a lot of organ stuff going on. It had 50 reviews day of, because man, very, very strange little game. I love it though. Extremely strong style. 50 reviews day of. I guess it would get somewhere between 133 and 667. Don't know why I was guessing in those number ranges, but apparently I was. And it got 260, which puts it in Silver Spoon, but fairly low in Silver Spoon. Which means I'm guessing this game probably underperformed for them. I'm hoping that they get it on the Switch or something, because you could definitely do this game on the Switch, right? Anyway, they have made somewhere between like 65 and 80,000 off of this, which hopefully will be enough to fund them doing something else, or their next thing. All right, this game is Blackout Hospital. Having trouble remembering this one. We have a little Sonic-y character here, and then we have a narrative game. Okay. Huh. Yeah, I don't remember this one, which is weird because I think I would. Huh. Don't remember this one at all. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would do pretty well, apparently. Between 7 and 333. Don't know what I was getting at there. Anyways, it did eventually get to 60 reviews, so that's neat. It's a free-to-play game. Yeah, don't remember this one at all, but it looks kind of cool. It's a little sort of horror-themed RPG with little Sonic kind of characters. All right, neat. Next game is Blue Fish Yokohama. Okay, I do remember this one. It's a game about running a ramen stall. Yes. It had 2 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 3 and 7 and 20, and it got to 6, putting it in the middle of hamburger tier at about $900 in revenue. Not a lot, but it was a relatively simple looking little game. All right, next game is Bubble Sweeper, which was this. A game where you pop little bubbles. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would get between 1 and 4, and I was wrong. It got 0. So I don't think this game has made any money. Okay, moving on to Citadelic, which is this little hex-based building game. Right, it was a tower defense game. A little hex-based tower defense game with very minimalist graphics. It had 3 reviews day of. I guess it would do really well, I think, and I was incorrect. It only got to 5 reviews. So yeah, looking at revenues between $1,200 and $1,500 on this one. Fairly low. All right, next game is Cosmo Odyssey 2, Come Back to Origin. I vaguely remember this one. I think this is like a cosmonaut farming game where you're in a spacesuit and you're farming stuff. Anyways, it had 6 reviews day of. I guessed it would get between 10 and 53, and I was kind of technically correct, but on the very low end. It only got to 14 reviews, putting its revenue somewhere around $1,000. Okay, I do remember this one. This one is a little technical climbing game. It had no reviews day of. I guessed it would get between 0 and 17, apparently, for some reason. And it's got 0. So unfortunately, this game, despite looking pretty neat, did not find any sales, unfortunately. All right. Our next game is Cyber Heroes Arena DX. Right, which was one of our many little bullet heaven slash roguelike survival games. This one as a little cyborg guy who shoots lightning. It had 1 review day of. I guessed it would get between 3 and 17, and I was technically correct at the very lowest end. It got about 3, putting its revenue at somewhere around $500, which I'm guessing is not what they were hoping for. Still, if they continue to support it, they might be able to grow that. All right, next game is Drifting with Maxwell the Cat. Which was a meme game. Right, this is a meme game about being a cat on a skateboard. Yeah, it is exactly what it looks like. It had 23 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 27 and 67, and I was just wrong, but in the opposite way to last time. This one got to 68 reviews so far, so it is appropriately solidly in cat tier, with a revenue of somewhere between $3,600 and $4,000. Choices were made. Okay, moving on. Nicely done. Game to top. Okay, Elemental Adventure is our next game, and apparently this is some kind of survival space shooter, maybe? Where everybody is orbs. Yep, I vaguely remember this one as well. It had 1 review day of. I guess it would get between 3 and 17, and that was wildly overestimating it because it unfortunately only got 2 reviews. I seem to remember this one was... I was primarily looking at this one and going, this is kind of confusing, but it did look interesting. So I think that's why I estimated considerably higher than it ended up being. All right, our next game is Ellie Portal. Which is a little side-scrolling puzzle game where I think you can teleport. Yep, that appears to be it. You can lay down ladders and teleports. Yep. All right. It had 11 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 20 and 90. And it has done considerably better than expected, especially for a little puzzle game. I'm kind of fascinated by this one because it's doing very, very well for like an extremely simple indie puzzle platformer. Not very many of those do particularly well, but this one did. I think the fact that it is free is probably helping. All right, next one is called... I remember the name of this one. This is Emotions Social Media, or Social Media. I can't remember. It was some kind of weird social media simulator that was extremely confusing, very clearly using AI art in some way, but not really clear what's happening at any point. So yeah, it had 1 negative review day of. I guess it would get between 3 and 20, and I was technically right. It got to 3. It's still free, so they misspell smartphone in the short description. Very, very strange little game. This is very clearly a stretched capsule image. I don't know what's going on there. Hopefully they had fun making it. Our next game is Ephesius, which I think has gotten a new trailer, because I do not remember this trailer at all. It appears to be an open world... sound. Oh, weird. They have 3 trailers of panning camera shots and almost nothing that shows... Oh, no, nothing. Nothing that shows actual gameplay. Very strange. They have mixed reviews. They had 90 reviews day of, and I guess they would get between 117 and 300, and they did not. A change in my the way that I'm retrieving review data means that they have actually lost reviews in the time since. So I think this was a coming out of early access review. Yes. So this was coming out of early access on that day. So as usual, coming out of early access does nothing for your sales, and yeah. So they've made somewhere between 20 and 30,000 bucks on this game, but it looks like their the reviews are pretty bad. Yeah. All right. Moving on to Farming Fever Cooking Simulator, which was this cooking and farming game that looked like a mobile port, and I think it was a mobile port. It's a free-to-play game. It had almost 50 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 133 and 500, and I was incorrect. I overestimated this one. It only got to 111, but that's still doing okay for an early access game. Yeah, I guess we'll see how it goes. Next one is Fear of the Dark, which was a little first-person crawling around in the dark game, if I remember correctly. Yes, with this little spooky monster dude. It had 10 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 12 and 27, and it got to 11, so it only got 1 additional review after the first day. That's too bad. It was mixed reviews day of, and I think that if you have mixed reviews on your first day, that is really going to stunt your growth. Yeah. Bit of a bummer. They've probably only made about 2,000 bucks off of this game, which is not a great deal for a game as relatively polished looking as this one. All right, moving on to Feed Him, which is another horror game, but this one was a low poly horror game. I think this is a new trailer. I don't remember this trailer. Explore Town. Huh. All right, looks pretty cool. It had 2 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 9 and 300, so I thought this one would take off apparently, but unfortunately it did not. It only got to 7, so again, this is one that I was overestimating. It remains in low hamburger tier revenue, somewhere around 400 bucks. Not great, unfortunately. Okay. Our next game, Feudal Fantasy Incremental, which was a idle game. Right, a little fantasy idle game. It had very bad reviews the first day. It had 1 positive to 3 negative. And I thought it would still do okay. I thought it would get between 20 and 100, which it has. It got to about 30. But because it's so inexpensive, it's only $2, this has probably not brought in a lot of actual revenue, leaving them with revenue somewhere around 1,200 bucks. Which again, probably not much for even a relatively uncomplicated game like this. So I think that goes to show that, like, you can sell more than most games on Steam. Like, getting to 30 reviews is more than most games make on Steam, and you can still make negligible quantities of money. Something to consider. Our next game is called Gigantosaurus Dino Kart, which I also remember because it is a little Mario Kart kind of game where everybody is dinosaurs and you're racing in environments with dinosaurs. It's like very, very, very obviously Mario Kart. But I thought the dinosaur designs were kind of delightful. To the point where I unfortunately significantly overestimated the number of sales. So I was guessing they would get between 10 and 67, and they only got 25. So not particularly great, unfortunately. And I think part of the problem here is that it is one of those games where it begs the question, why spend $50 on your game when I could spend $60 on Mario Kart and then I would have Mario Kart? Like, it doesn't have a hook that is independent of its reference, right? Like, it's very clearly referencing Mario Kart and doesn't have anything that is independent of that. My baking is done. Hold on a second, everybody. Okay, back. I'm going to do that again in 10 minutes. Hold on. All right. Moving on to Grounded Sim Steam Edition. I remember the capsule. This like sort of vacant-eyed Charlie Brown kind of guy. You follow a strange man through a portal. I do not. Oh right, yeah. This game was just super dark, just very very dark, and then you get chased by this guy who is sort of Charlie Brown, and then he yells at you, and that was kind of it. Steam games. It had 4 reviews day of. I for some reason estimated between 10 and 20 total reviews on this one, and I was very very incorrect because it just stayed at 4 reviews. That still puts it into hamburger tier revenue somewhere around between $500 and $600, but not much. Also, this game is just super dark, both conceptually and like visibly. And then it also has like screenshots of sections that don't appear in the trailers, so just very confusing Steam page in general. It's a single player game, though it really looks like a multiplayer game. So yeah, just a weird one. That's Grounded Sim. Also, Grounded Sim Steam Edition. What is that title? Anyway, I don't know. There's a lot going on there. All right. Moving on to Grundheim, which was a little low poly game that starts with a menu. Always a good sign. I think this is actually an RPG. Yep, it is an RPG. Little low poly RPG. Okay. It had no reviews to have. I guess it would get between 1 and 12, and as I was saying in the beginning, it actually got nothing. So yes, estimates here, maybe $50, maybe. All right. Moving on to another game which had the same thing happen, where it had no reviews day of. I estimated too high, and then it continued to have no reviews. In this case, it is like a very obviously little ecchi blackjack game, where mostly it seems to be focused on the cute girls who are the dealers, I guess. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would get between 2 and 27 for some reason, and instead it got nothing. So this did not appear to find its audience. All right. Next game, Ibis AM. Right, which was a surrealist game about playing an ibis, where you're like walking around surrealist environments trying to find fish. Very strange game. 1 review day of. I guess it would get between 3 and 20, and it got to 15. So like, good on them. Very, very strange capsule image with the fish and like the badly distorted words. Extremely strange title, but you know, definitely an art game. I'm thinking like, yeah, they know what they're doing, I think. Okay, this one is June Shining. Huh. I don't remember this one at all, but apparently you're a little ball that bounces around and have different like elemental powers, I guess. So it's sort of a puzzle platformer, sort of a level platformer, I think. Anyways, it had 3 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 5 and 20, and it did not. It stayed at 3 reviews, meaning I was incorrect in my range estimations. Moving on to Night Cats Leaves on the Road Collector Edition, which was a cat-based hidden object game by Elephant AR. I do not remember this one, but it looks delightful. It's very Elephant AR, as is usual for them. They gave themselves no time to market this one. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would get between 0 and 4, and I got 1. I continue to be baffled by Elephant AR and Big Fish's games, like strategy in general, especially on Steam. They continue to be strange. Clearly, very high effort hidden object games, lots and lots of art, lots of good art. They're very elaborate games. They're about 10 hours long. They do not market them on Steam at all, and they appear to not make any money on Steam, so I continue to be confused by their choices. Moving on to Labyrinthian Lost Till Dawn, which is a creeping about in the dark game. Yep, that's about it. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would get between 1 and 20, and I was technically right. It got 1 review, putting it in glass of milk tier, having a revenue of somewhere around $200. Last Kids on Earth hit the deck. I remember the name, but I don't remember anything else. Oh, right. This is a like a teens versus like mutated monsters and zombies game, deck-based combat game. Yeah. Okay. Neat. This had 4 reviews day of, and I guess it would get between 7 and 20, and it did. It is in cat tier with 13 total reviews and a revenue of somewhere around $5,000. I don't think that ended up being financially worth it, unfortunately. All right. Next one is Last Order. Which was a pixel platformer, I think. Yes, where you're this little anime girl and you're fighting robots with a sword. Yeah, it had 2 total reviews. I guess it would get between 10 and 1,000, so I wildly overestimated this one. I seem to remember that it had really cool bosses. Yeah, see? Very, very cool boss. Bunch of cool bosses. It looked really neat. Definitely a heartbreaker on this one because it only ended up with 2 reviews. It got no more reviews from the day of. The entire first month, it got nowhere. This is an early access game, and I think that they bungled their launch real bad. Yeah, see, how does it only have only 2 reviews? Good question. I think the answer is they did not do any marketing. Yeah, that's a bummer. Ah, that sucks. That hurts me in my soul. All right. Next game is Magic and Legend Time Knights. Another little puzzle pixel platformer. It had no reviews day of. I guessed it would get between 0 and 10, and I was technically correct. It got 0, so even worse, unfortunately, than Last Order. Again, kind of a bummer. Looks like some people put some time into this one. Very retro style. Bummer. All right. Next game is Me in the Office, another game that I overestimated by estimating that it would get any reviews. It appears to be... Oh, right. Yes, this is bizarre. This is the game where you use a boombox to force your coworkers to dance, and then they kick the office apart. That seems to be the whole game. Really very strange. No reviews. I guess it would get between 1 and 40. The 40 estimate, I remember going like, yeah, it is possible that like some streamers or someone will pick this up, and then it will go higher. But unfortunately, no. It actually did not go anywhere. Nobody played this game. Yeah, don't know what to say on this one. It is what it is. Okay. Okay. Next game is Memory Traces Egypt, which was about reconstructing Egyptian artifacts. It's basically just like a little sort of jigsaw puzzle game with specifically them being, I think some of them are 3D objects, and then you're replacing 3D parts of models of Egyptian artifacts. I think that's kind of neat. It had 6 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 10 and 20, and it did. It got to about 16. So it did okay-ish. Low revenue though, because it was not very expensive, right? It's only $3. So yeah, probably under $1,000 in revenue on this one. All right, next game is Metal Glove Exodus. More baking stuff. I'll be back in a few seconds. Ba-doop. And back once more. Okay. All right, did we look at Metal Glove Exodus? We did not. Right, this is the default Unreal Engine avatar. It had 1 review day of. I guess it would get between 1 and 10, and it got to 6, which is pretty good for a game that is using the default Unreal Engine avatar again. It is a free-to-play game though, so sure. All right, it was a little hack and slash game. All right, cool. Moving on to our next game, which is Microcrawl, which was a very, very old school CRT pixel horror game, I think. You navigate through a dark fantasy world. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would get between 1 and 20, and I was technically correct. It got to 2, putting its revenue somewhere between 150 and $200. Pretty low, unfortunately. All right, next game, Monsters of Seabrook. Huh. Right, I think this is an idle fusion game. But it had really nice pixel art. Very cute little characters. I thought it would do considerably better than it did, I think largely based on the strength of its pixel art, because its pixel art is very strong. It's not an idle fusion game, it is actually a walking around and fusing your minions together kind of game. Yeah, this is another heartbreaker, I think. It had only 2 review days of. I guess we get between 20 and 100, so I assume that this would get easily into Silver Spoon tier. It did not. It only picked up another 2 reviews, 1 positive, 1 negative, leaving it in hamburger tier, meaning they made maybe $1,000. Bummer. All right. Next game is My Summer Job Dialing for Dreams, which had no reviews day of, and it's a telemarketing simulator. Yep. Telemarketing simulator. I vaguely remember this one. Yes, you're like cold calling people. It sounds horrifying. It had no reviews day of, and almost no followers, only 7 followers. I guess between 2 and 20, and I was, again, unfortunately, very wrong. It continues to have no reviews. So, to be fair, I do not know why I thought a telemarketing simulator would do well, but there it is. I did, apparently. All right. odd choice of game context there. All right. Moving on to our next one, which is called Mysterious School, which was a single-player, multiplayer horror game about being kids breaking into an abandoned school, I think. I think this is a 1.0 release. Was this a 1.0 release? I can't remember. Unfortunately, I can't read most of their news posts. Anyways, it had 80 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 200 and 800, and I was wrong. It only got 151. So, mixed, I would say. Also, it's interesting that they're recommending the Garden of Banban games to me on this, because that's kind of a different genre of horror there. All right. Moving on to our next game, which is called OVE Sword of Liberation. Action-adventure game. I only vaguely remember this one. Right, because it keeps sort of like fading to black before anything interesting happens. Yep. Action-adventure RPG, kind of. It had 2 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 5 and 30, and I was incorrect. It only got to 4. So this one also did not do too great. Somewhere in low cat tier on this one, because I think they charge a lot of money for this one. Yeah, they were charging $30 for this, which was a lot. Okay. I did like the capsule, though. It's a really nice capsule. It's kind of a pity that the trailer, I think, on this one is particularly weak. It's unclear what's going on in the trailer. You're definitely like avoiding big monster guys, but what your character's actions are, we don't see the UI. We don't see like, can you take damage? What's going on? Anyway, all right, moving on. Planes of Pain. Survival multiplayer post-apocalyptic game with mostly negative reviews, unfortunately. So yeah, I guess this is a survival building game. It had 4 positive, 2 negative reviews day of, and I guess it would get to like between 12 and 333, I guess. It did get to 12, so I was technically correct, but it did that by mostly picking up exclusively negative reviews. So definitely seems like this game is kind of janky. Yeah. All right. Next one is Plumpy Uprising. Which is a tower defense game where you are killing these little guys with weird tongues. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would get between 0 and 20, and it got to 4, making it technically correct, which is the best kind of correct. That puts it in hamburger tier, so they've made about $1,000 off of this one. It's still in early access, so maybe a bunch of upgrades and additions are coming. We will see how Plumpy Hero does. Plumpy Uprising. All right. Next game is Rise of the Fox Hero. Where you're a little fox with a sword and a shield, and you do platforming. I definitely remember this one because I thought, oh, that's funny. It's very, very similar to the to one of the training courses for Godot. Anyways, it had 3 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 10 and 33, and it did not, unfortunately. It only got to 5 total reviews. So I don't think this one is making back its money, unfortunately. I'm guessing that's going to be a bit of a problem. Still, it looks like well made and, pretty cute. All right, moving on to our next game, which is called Sorry We're Open, which is this like horror based supermarket management simulator game, which I thought was kind of interesting. Yeah, definitely like a little pixel horror game. I thought this one looked like a lot of fun. This was one of the ones where I was like, I might pick this one up, but I think that the $10 price tag might have pushed me away. I was a little hesitant to get that one, but yeah, still looks kind of neat. It had 5 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 13 and 100 somehow, but it got to about 33. So doing okay in the middle of cat tier, with revenue somewhere between 7,500 and 8,000, I think. So doing okay. Interesting. I think the capsule definitely not helping. It's an interesting idea, but I don't think that it explains what the game is very much. Like, this does not give us genre. This doesn't really give us much of anything. Still kind of neat. All right, our next game is Space Coaster VR, which is about being in space on a roller coaster, and in my case, violently vomiting probably. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would get between 0 and 10, and it got 0, so it seems like nobody else wanted to ride the space coaster either. A pity. Okay. Moving on to another space game, which is called Spaceborne 2. I do not remember this one. Okay, so it is a flying around in space game. With lasers. Everybody likes lasers. Yeah, looked pretty good. It had 100 reviews, or 111 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 500 and 1,000 reviews, and it got to 822, putting it like right in the middle of my range. I was surprisingly accurate on this one. So this is the rare rocket ship game, where they have revenue probably somewhere in the $450,000 to $500,000 range. Quite impressive. I have still not heard anyone mention this anywhere else, though, so it's still probably a little bit niche. Moving on to our next game, which is called Star Survivor Prologue. Right, which was a horde survival game in space. One of several that we've seen. We've seen a couple of games like this, where they're vampire survivor-likes in space. It had better results than a lot of similar games. It had 25 total reviews day of. I guess it would get between 100 and 400, and it appears that I was unable to get reviews on this one for some reason. That's weird. All right, I'll put these in properly here. Yeah, Star Survivor Prologue. It should have 83 and 33. 83 and 33. So yeah, it was doing okay. This is a prologue for another game. For the actual game is called Star Survivor. It's over here, and it's not out yet. So this is their prologue and testing game, I think, or it is out now. Okay, so this game is out now and it's in early access. Oh, okay. You know what's happened? All right, so this is what happened. they had a prologue version, and then they deleted it and like rerouted it to their actual 4Pay version. And so that, I think, is why I didn't get any numbers for their actual prologue, because the prologue no longer exists. So now it's just this one, which seems to be doing okay, right? It got up to 100 reviews, but I'm not reviewing this one. I was only reviewing the prologue one. So my bad. That was a little confusing there. I didn't know you could do that on Steam. You could reroute one of your games to another. Okay. Our next game is Stardust Exile, which is an MMORTS in space with planets. Lots of planet simulation going on. And fighting with spaceships. I don't remember this one. It only had 4 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 33 and 333, and I was incorrect, but not that incorrect. It did get to 22, putting it into Silver Spoon tier. Though not as high as I was expecting. All right. Our next game is Terrarium Builder, which is exactly what it says on the tin. It was a little toy game where you built terrariums. I remember thinking that this was quite delightful because you could just do art. It was a cute little, unusual little art game. It had 1 review day of. I guess it would get between 5 and 60, and again, technically correct, but very much on the low end of my estimates. It only got to about 6, which I think is a pity, because this looked like it might be, fun to play around with while listening to podcasts or something. All right, next game is called That Makes Sense, which was a hex-based version of Baba Is You. And I remember looking at this one and going, I don't know if this one's going to work. It had 1 review day of, but I think because of the way that I'm counting reviews now, it doesn't show up properly because it's not a Steam purchase. So it actually ended up getting no reviews. So yeah, that's kind of a pity. I think the fact that everything is just hexagons, there's no actual characters, and again, Baba Is You already exists. The hook here is unclear, I would say. The hook is really just, it's Baba Is You, but hexagons. So yeah, unfortunately, did not do particularly well. All right. Moving on to our next one is The Last Haven. Right, which is a post-apocalyptic building game where you're building a little colony of people to survive in a post-apocalypse. Base building indie post-apocalyptic game. It had mixed reviews, but it had 1,800 reviews day of. This was a 1.0 release out of early access, right? And I was guessing that it would get between 2,000 and 3,000. This was before I realized that coming out of early access basically does nothing for sales. They got up to 905, so they only gained about 3% in the last month. Still, that does put them at the upper end of Rocket Ship tier. They've probably made about $1 million off of this game. But if I remember correctly, this store page came out quite a while ago. So this was a game that was in early access for several years. All right, moving on to The Last Hike, which had a very cool pixel art capsule image. I remember the pixel art capsule image, but I did not remember that this is what the actual game looks like. Which is a little, very basic kind of Secret of Mana style action RPG, where you're beating up slimes, apparently. It had 13 reviews day of. I guessed it would stay at 13, and it has stayed at 13. So why did I guess it would stay at 13? I enjoyed the game, Knights for a Night game, a game about knights for real Americans. Right, I thought all of these reviews were synthetic. So I think that's why I guessed that it would stay at 13. So yes, I don't know if I'm correct. I could very well be incorrect, but at the time, I think I thought that the reviews that this game had were not authentic reviews. So, The Lone Alien is also a top-down pixel art little RPG, action RPG kind of thing. It had 12 positive reviews. I also thought it would only stay with 12 positive reviews, and it did. And again, I think... Yeah, I assume that this also had maybe synthetic reviews. That appears to be borne out by the fact that they got no more after the first day. So, very weird that these two were like right next to each other. They appear to have been made by different people, but very strange. All right, next one, Sea of Death. Mystery puzzle adventure. Huh. This is a getting shot simulator. Yeah, this one was very strange. I do remember the guy with the like weird helmet for the head. It looked like a kind of cool little adventure game, but it had 3 reviews day of, and I thought it would do much better than it has because, again, because of the way that the Steam reviews work, most of the reviews that were there on the first day were not Steam purchases. So it looks like only one person actually reviewed the game on Steam. So yes, definitely a heartbreaker on this one because it's very clear that a lot of work went into this one, and this is the kind of game that I think could do well if the right audience found it, but it does not look like the audience found it. At least not yet. This one could still, I think, become a modest success, but it would need to find its audience, and it so far has not. Okay, our next game is called Tournament, which was a space mining game? I do not remember this one. But yeah, I guess it's about being a little spaceship or possibly a robot, and you're trying to avoid dangerous things and get those crystals. It had 3 reviews day of. I guess it would get between 12 and 33 for some reason, and it got all the way to 11, so it did okay. All right. Volleygon. I do not remember this one either. Oh, right. Okay, so it was a little polygon Pong / table tennis kind of game. But I remember being kind of weirded out by the fact that like it didn't appear to acknowledge goals. So yeah, very strange. It had no reviews day of. I guess it would do better than it would. It only got 1 review. I guess it would get between 3 and 10. This game has probably made maybe $200. All right. Our second last game in our quite long review series here, which is, oh right, I do remember this one. This one was definitely one that I remember, which is about making tiles, where you make different tile patterns, which is a meditative historical game based on tile making in Granada. I thought this was a very cool idea. I guess it would get between 17 and 67 reviews, apparently. And it did get to 17, so technically I was correct, but it did not do as well as I had hoped, because I thought this was a very cool idea where you had like environments that you could walk around in, and you could see your tiles being used. Yeah, I thought this was very neat, but unfortunately, it has done, at best, kind of okay revenue, somewhere just over $4,000. All right. And our last game, in terms of our reviews, is Zero G Gunfight. Right. I'm going to zoom in on this one because it's a little hard to see. But you're like these little ragdoll dudes, and you're fighting in Zero G and shooting each other. It has a lot of sort of very goofy stuff going on. I thought it was probably not going to do great because it was a multiplayer game that didn't have many reviews on launch. But I did at least estimate that it would get up to 20. I was, however, very incorrect. It got all the way up to 36. So there's people playing this. They're positive. People tend to like this one, apparently. Unique little PvP kind of game. Not actually that unique, because there was a game that we reviewed, I think the last time, where it was spiders. in 0G fighting each other. Anyways, it's made maybe 16 grand. Nice job to the Devil Cider Games people. All right, so that is it for our review. Yeah. What a day, huh? A lot of interesting ones. I'm still, I think, probably the most bummed out about Last Order, which just did not get there, unfortunately. Real bummed out. Okay. Also, Sorry We're Open. Sorry We're Open looked really neat, and yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're gonna move on to the games for today. Let's see. How long have we been casting for? Surprisingly, just over an hour. Okay. So, in terms of our current day reviews and estimates, we are going to start with Anthology of Fear, which has 21 positive reviews to 12 negative reviews for a total of 33. It is on sale for $19.49, down from $13.64. Developed by Oh Dear Studios and 100 Games, and published by 100 Games and Gamersky Games. So there are at least 3 companies involved in the release of this one. Take part in a one-man investigation and solve the mystery of your brother's disappearance. Find out the truth by exploring unsettling liminal locations. Discover the story chapter by chapter, with each unveiling their common tragedy. Okay, so we're definitely referencing PT here, right? Like this is an extremely PT moment. But it looks pretty good. I'm gonna zoom in so we can see some of the nice artwork. Definitely a creeping around in the dark kind of game. They have a demo, that's good. Looks like they have lots of updates, which is always good to see. They have a Discord community. They have GIFs in their store description. All right, they're doing some correct things. It looks like you get a gun at some point. I was not expecting that. Walking simulator. Had some good scares. A couple people linking their YouTube channels with Let's Play. It's a PT clone, so yeah, definitely some people referencing PT. All right, cool. All right, let's check their charts. 23 people currently playing it, about 100 at peak. They got some Twitch play on this, so that's pretty good. Several times, it looks like. Because remember, this game is probably about an hour and a half long. So it looks like they had 3 or 4 streamers play it staggered out, which is pretty good. They had 2,500 or so followers. That is a long plateau, and then a very brief little promotion period. This game has been in production for a long time, though. August 2nd, 2019. Probably earlier. Let's dig into the history. I'm going to guess it's probably late 2018 or something. No, 21st of May 2019. This is actually when it went up. So, interesting. They were up for a very long time. Not bad, that at all, but it does mean that their followers per day is relatively low for this many followers. But that does mean that it's fairly likely that this will convert eventually. They have probably 24,000 wish lists or so. So I would expect that to convert over relatively well. It will take a while. Wish lists don't convert immediately, but it will likely convert over pretty well. What am I going to guess? Okay, I'm going to say my low estimate is probably 40, and I think my high estimate is going to be 160 maybe. Yeah. Nice job, Odier Studios. Your game looks neat. All right, moving on to our next game, which is called Battle Tanks Arena, which has picked up 1 review, which is positive, no negative reviews. It is on sale for $2.59. Developed and published by SP Games. Okay, so we have little low poly tanks. It looks like a multiplayer game. Is this multiplayer? No, it is single player. So these are our single player ally tanks, where you can blow up the environment. You can also drive through the environment. All right, neat. Very, very tiny store page. We have fun, positive reviews. I had fun playing this game. And I bet it's going to be a fun party game in the future. It would be a fun party game if it was a multiplayer, and if it's not multiplayer, it definitely needs to identify the fact that it is. Team fight, player versus AI. So it is not multiplayer. That seems like a mistake, maybe? Because this is the kind of game that you would want to play in multiplayer. Playing it in single player seems like not the best. Only 1 person played this. No data on the Lifeline players chart. They only got 5 followers. And the store page went up on the 3rd of March. So they didn't give themselves much time on this one. My low estimate, I think, is going to be 1, and I think my high estimate is going to be 5. Best of luck to SP Games. Yes, it is a lot of followers for Anthology of Fear. And as we can see, they got that because they were up for a very, very long time. So yeah, you can get a lot of followers by being an interesting looking game and just being on Steam for a long time. All right, our next game is Black Academy. Black Academy has 2 positive reviews, no negative reviews, for a total of 2. It is on sale for $17.67, down from $20.79. Developed and published by Cat Doors. That is a delightful name for a studio. Okay, so we have a cute anime girl. We have some full motion video animation. That's nice. The designs are very cute. I'm guessing this is right. Okay, so it is a side-scrolling shooter game where you're. Was she shooting a Red Bull can? Okay, those are bats. Yep, that definitely looks like a Red Bull can. An evil Red Bull can. More bats. And then an evil anime girl. Okay, cool. So I think we get what this is. This is an early access. Lots of nice character designs. Let's check their charts. Hmm. 192 followers. Okay, this is interesting. I was not expecting them to have been up for as long as they were. April 17th, 2021. Low followers per day. Very, very low. It's a roguelite game. That's interesting. Okay, so I think this one probably is not going to get a lot of attention because it looks fairly basic in terms of like the side-scrolling combat stuff. But also, I would think that it would get more interest than it has, right? Like this game does not look like it's going to be a huge hit, but I would expect it to be more of a hit than it currently is. So I think either they're marketing this secondarily on Steam, like their Steam is not their primary market for this, or something else is going on. Like they just didn't market it very much. I am unfortunately going to say probably my lowest estimate is 2. I think my highest estimate on this one is 20. All right, moving on to our next game. I'm just going to, there we go. 109 50. Okay. So this next game is called BLOCkCORsair. Just completely random punctuation there. No reviews. On sale for $4.99. Developed and published by Blockers. Okay, so they're capitalizing the name of their company in the name of the game. Fair enough. BLOCkCORsair is a game where you play as an air pirate in a world where airships come and go. Engage in battles and loot, strengthen your own airship, and loot some more. Okay, so... Right, alright, so this is a game where you build a spaceship out of blocks, and then you knock other blocks off of other ships. It's kind of wacky that the instructions are always on the screen. Are they just going to be on the screen? Okay. They're not on screen when you're building stuff. But they are always on the screen when you're playing. Weird choice. Yeah. No reviews. I mean, it's kind of a cool idea. And I've seen games where it's like build your spaceship, fight other spaceships, do pretty well. So let's see whether or not their charts give us any illumination. Only 7 followers. Store page went up on the 23rd of November. So they did have some time. Leading me to suspect that they did not do very much in the way of marketing. Yes. Okay, so my low estimate is 0. I think my high estimate is going to be 5. Yeah. All right. Moving on to our next game, which is Castrum Novum VR Life in a Roman Colony. No reviews. For sale for $5.69. Developed by Techrun VR and Infinite Production and published by Techrun VR. Are you interested in how life was in a typical ancient colony of Rome? Come and visit one of them. You can enjoy a passive tour that will show you the rise and life in the colony, or you can explore it as a time traveler. Complete the task. Which task? And save the time continuum. What? Welcome to Castrum Novum. That escalated quite a lot. Okay. So I'm guessing it's mostly a walking simulator. We do not see ourselves actually talking to anyone. Colors are English and Czech, so I'm guessing this is probably a Czech production. And no reviews. Okay, let's check their charts. Looks like nobody played it, like 0 player data. And store page went up 1st of November. They got to 20 followers, which is not many. Okay. This one is a tough pitch. I don't think that the capsule here is helping. This is not telling us... I mean, it's kind of telling us what's going on, but it's not showing us, like, gameplay or anything particularly hooky. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to guess low estimate 5. I'm going to guess highest... low estimate is 0. High estimate is also going to be 5 on this one. Yeah. I think I'm going to say high estimate 2, I think. I don't think that one's going to do particularly well. Best of luck to Techrun VR, though. Alright, our next game. Is Chi Ninja, which has 1 positive review, no negative reviews, for a total of 1. It is for sale for $5.21. Developed by Mark Hanham. Yes, Mark Hanham, and published by Vaporware Games. Okay. It's a little side-scrolling ninja game where you're a little pixel ninja guy and you cut people in half. Also, you have wall kicks. Alright, the action looks pretty neat. In a world full of ninjas, Chi Ninja will fight his way to freedom. A fast-paced speedrunner platformer with sharp ninja moves, grappling hawk and ninja stars, as well as a katana. Will our hero save the ninja army? No question mark. So I definitely think that they need to edit this a bit. You need a controller. Okay, very, very simple store page. I mean, the mechanics look neat. Also, there are bosses. Okay, let's check their charts. Only maybe a couple of people played it. 10 followers, not many at all. 3rd of March. Okay, so this game gave itself no time. It was picking up not great, but not terrible followers per day. So yeah, I think this is one where they didn't give themselves any time. It's a difficult thing to market because it is a platformer on Steam. Platformers on Steam are difficult. Capsule image is descriptive. It shows what kind of game it is, but not the kind of capsule that gets people to click on it. So yeah, I think this is a game that is better than its marketing makes it out to look. Which means, unfortunately, I am going to still have to guess probably 1 at my low estimate with 15 upper end. Like, it could do okay-ish, but yeah. Mark, you gotta market your game more, I think. All right. Moving on to our next game, which is Desolation. 2 positive, 2 negative reviews for a total of 4. For sale for $6.49. Developed by Troll Studios and Nightmare Studios, and published by Troll Studios. Unravel the mysteries of an abandoned city in Desolation, a 1-6 multiplayer horror game. Your task is to find the team of scientists sent into the city before you. They have stopped communications, and you must find out why. What seems like an easy task turns into a fight for survival. Okay, so we have a creeping around in the dark with your friends game. Those are always interesting. But we didn't really see anything particularly spooky. We've just got these one guys with breath masks. Those are really difficult to rig in 3D, by the way. Just an absolute nightmare to work with. Okay. Game is far from ready. Too many bugs. Lack of gameplay in general. This is early access. Wait until they update it. Too many bugs. So it looks like lots of bugs. Even the positive reviews are mentioning bugs. Needs a lot of work. Okay, so yeah, this seems like it's possibly too early to release, even into early access. Let's see what their charts say. Looks like 8 people played it yesterday. Not many followers. And store page went up on the 2nd of February. Rough. Okay. I think they probably... A better strategy here would have been not to release it yet. To give it another 2 or 3 months, and then do the same kind of release, ideally with more of a marketing push, because it doesn't look like they did maybe a little marketing push in the last little while, but not much and not continuously, right? If you're doing a marketing push, you need to be doing marketing stuff every day. You should be gaining followers every day. They were not. So, yeah. Unfortunate. Okay. My low estimate is going to be 4. It is entirely possible that they sell no more copies than the ones that they already have. My high estimate is going to be 18, I think. Best of luck to Troll Studios. I assume that they had a good reason for releasing early. They were probably running into money problems. That would be my guess. All right, our next game is Destiny Duel. Just 1 positive, no negative reviews for a total of 1. It is a free-to-play game developed by Master Bronze Elite and published by MBE Games. Simple to learn, impossible to master, Destiny Duel is a battle of the mind. In order to win, you must predict your opponent's every move. Attack, guard, recover, or dodge. The choice is yours, and every choice matters. So, This is paper, rock, scissors, right? It's paper, rock, scissors with cool pixel art. And spider girls. Or crab girls? I don't know. Weird. Weird choice. Alright. After playing 8 hours, this game is very good. Alright. At least one person really likes it. Let's check the charts. A couple of people played this. They only had 5 followers, though, so that many players is more than their followers would suggest. Okay, went up on the 28th of January. I think this one would be tricky to market, but I do think that this one probably did also need marketing. I'm going to say probably 1. I think my high estimate on this one, it is free to play, would be 12, I think. Yeah. Best of luck, Master Bronze Elite. I look forward to seeing what you do next. Okay, our next game is Eftu. Eftu has no reviews. It is on sale for $15.59, down from $25.99. It is developed and published by Ticking Candle LLC. I wonder if it means like the F2 key on the keyboard. In a world threatened by a mysterious interdimensional entity, pick your guild, pick your ship, and pick your battles. Okay. And instead of doing any of that, we are seeing a untextured 3D model of something. Maybe a bike? Is this a ship? Is this a battle? Is this the threatening entity? What's going on here? And now we're somewhere completely different. How is any of this connected? Okay, so the little bike thing is actually the ship, but it's unclear how we picked it, or if we picked it, or what we're doing. I mean, that's pretty, but what are we doing? Oh, there are laser fights against identical opponents, I guess. All right. Yeah. It's an early access game. It definitely looks like an early access game. Okay, store page went up 4th of March last year. Not this year, last year. Okay. So this game has been in production for quite some time. They got to 24 followers. Huh. Huh. Wow. This is a multiplayer game. That's what they mean by pick your guild. Your guild is like your multiplayer clan, I guess. Weird. Okay. All right. My low estimate is 0. I think my high estimate on this one is going to be 2. I think. Very odd game. Interesting choices made there. Taking Candle LLC. Moving on to our next game, which is Escape from the Depth. Escape from the Depth has 4 positive reviews, or 3 positive reviews, no negative reviews, for a total of 3. It is a free-to-play game developed by Malachus Harris, Stephen Halsey, Felipe Morin, and Kevin Huffmaster, and published by Malachus Harris. So, group of friends, maybe not a studio. And we have a trailer that starts with the menu screen, always fun. Escape from the Depth is a cosmic horror game that takes place in a submarine under the dark and cold and desolate oceans of Europa. The player must survive while trying to collect the necessary items to safely evacuate the sinking submarine. Oh wow, we're really going into it in the terms of the menus, huh? Yeah, we're gonna spend a long time in the menus. Okay, so it is a 3D creeping around in the dark game, but we're in a submarine on Europa. I like the map. That's a cool idea. We have this little map here. Let's see. Oh, there are spooky monsters. Okay. So it is running away from spooky fish monsters, alien fish monsters. All right. Our reviews are, please check out my YouTube channel and Jesus. All right. Neat. Okay. Let's check their charts. I was not expecting that. All right. Looks like 1 or 2 people were playing this sometimes yesterday. They got 9 followers, and the store page went up on the 27th. So not a ton of time. Yeah, okay. I don't see this one having a particularly strong hook, I would say. It doesn't look bad. I do like the map, but in terms of creeping around in the dark games, I don't think the fact that you're on Europa and in a submarine is enough, really. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm going to say my low estimate is 3. I think my high estimate is going to be, it is a free-to-play game, so 20, maybe. Contact some streamers. That would be my recommendation to this group of friends here. Because that might do stuff. All right. Interesting game. Moving on. Those are not the correct values. This one might not be a game. Hold on. No, it is. Okay. So this is Film Studio Manager. It is 5 positive, no negative reviews for a total of 5. It is a free-to-play game developed and published by Illumin Games, or Illumian Games. It's got a very strong graphic design style. Film Studio Manager is an interactive business simulation game where you manage your own film studio. You need to be creative, strategic, and have an eye for business. Eye for success to succeed in the game's business. Okay, read that one a little bit wrong. Really strong UI design, I gotta say. And then you're like picking what kind of movies to make. Huh. Kind of weird that they still have like lorem ipsum text in here. I wonder if it's still there in the actual game. It is an early access game. It is free to play, currently at least. There's a major issue that prevents you from progressing past July 16th, and even saving and reloading the game doesn't solve the problem. That's too bad. Looks like Edward's having a bit of a day. Iceborg really likes it, thinks it's the best manager game they've played. Interesting. All right, I think if you like this kind of game, this one looks like a good one. 2 people are currently playing it with 6 at peak. They only got 30 followers, so that's not many. Did you put your game up very recently? You did, 3rd of March. Okay. Very, very short, but high followers per day. I will say, I think their UI is very striking. The fact that they have managed to do this well with a capsule image that does make it ambiguous as to whether or not it's a video game is testament to how striking the UI design is. So yeah, good job there. I think my low estimate is probably going to be, what am I going to guess? Okay, my low estimate is going to be 7. I think my high estimate, because it is free, it's currently free, is going to be 35, I think. That's probably only in the first month, depending on how they update it. I'm guessing that the plan with this game is that they will eventually start charging for it. It's just free currently. That is my guess. All right, moving on to our next game, which is called Flamekeeper. Flamekeeper has 7 positive reviews, no negative reviews, for a total of 7. It is on sale for $10.37, down from $15.49, developed by Count Cave, and published by Untold Tales. We have a developer playthrough coming in, but I'm going to not look at that. Flamekeeper is a dynamic action roguelite that sees you restore the eternal flame, stolen by creatures of shadow. Fight through a rogue's gallery of monsters in diverse biomes using fiery combat skills. No sweat for a lump of coal like you. We have a very strong little capsule image here in the modern Steam style, where we have a angry little piece of coal that's on fire, I guess. I'm going to zoom in so we can see some of these neat little combat moves. Okay, looks like you're fighting bugs. It's an interesting, if simple, little art style. Looks like they have a skill tree here. This is kind of reminding me of Cult of the Lamb, like the gameplay where you have like a little town that you walk around in, and then combat mission areas. Interesting. Yep, and they have bosses. It looks like you're only fighting bugs. Like it looks like just bugs hate fire apparently, which, you know, fair. Fire's not good for bugs. Early access game. So far so good. Well worth the asking price. Super cute aesthetics. Neat. Okay, cool. Let's check the charts. Got a bit of Twitch play, but not a bunch. 15 total players. 822 followers. That's not too bad at all. Wow, though. Not much promotion during like the 2 years of production here. Okay, June 24th. Is that the earliest? Yeah, June 24th, 2021. So they were on Steam for a while. Just above what I would consider minimum followers per day. So they were getting somewhere between 13 and 20 followers per day, I guess. Not followers per day. 13 and 20 wish lists per day. Clearly, quite a bit of work went into this one, and they're doing a lot of things correctly, but I think they maybe got into a little festival here, maybe another festival there, and then they've put in a lot of promotion in the last 5 days or something. So in this case, I think the problem probably was that they did not do continuous promotion over time, right? They were working on the game for these 2 years, and during that time, they did no promotion, or very, very little, right? For the first 2 years, they got to 60 followers. Not much. And then from December last year, they started doing promotion, and they got all the way up to 800, right? If they had been doing this kind of promotion the whole time, where would they be, right? They could be at 25,000 followers and have a huge hit on their hands. As is, I think they're going to struggle. They have not managed to get over 10 reviews in the first day. And I don't think that's the game. I think that is the marketing strategy. I think they flubbed that, which is a bummer. Right? They had the time. I think they had the game. Okay. So, my guess, what am I going to guess? I'm going to guess 9 lowest. I think I'm going to guess 30 at highest. Yeah. All right. Best of luck, County Games. I wish you well. All right. Moving on. To Flea the Cat. Flea the Cat has 2 positive reviews, no negative reviews, for a total of 2. It is a free-to-play game developed by Stephen Young and published by Stephen Young. Wow, okay, yep. We're a little rat. We're running away from the cat, and apparently we attack enemies by... Oh, we're actually swinging our sword at them. It just kind of looks like we're spraying them with blood and making them disappear. That is actually their blood. We are attacking them. So we're a little ninja rat, I think. Flea the Cat is an endless runner in which you play a ninja known as Squeak. Slice and chomp your way through crowds as you attempt to escape the clutches of the demonic cat that haunts you in this living nightmare. Okay, so you're running away from a cat. All right. I get it. Free to play game. Nice. All right. 5 followers on this one. Store page went up 1st of March. My guess is low estimate is 2. I think my high estimate on this one is going to be 6. Best of luck, Stefan. Whew. Okay, our next game is ForRest Paper Doll. I wonder if this is... I'm guessing this is actually a paper doll game. Definitely looks like it. Yep. So it's a little paper doll toy thing. Okay, cool. This is a dress-up mini game made for all ForRest creatures. So I'm guessing ForRest is... Have you released other games? You have not. This is their only thing. Huh. Weird. Alright. It's free to play. Ed still having another a weird one. Hey, it's Crow. First time Crow here. Hello, Crow. Crow being a huge weirdo. Yep. Everybody's being weird in the Steam reviews today. Pretty cool game. Lots of options for customization. Thank you, Panta Square, for being slightly less weird than everybody else. Alright. Let's check their charts. I wonder if this customization is being... They released this because they're working on another game or something. Okay, 18 followers. Store went up when? Went up the 31st of January. What am I going to guess? I think my lowest estimate is 2. I think my highest estimate is going to be 10. It is free to play, so that's interesting. All right, cool. Our next game is Goblins. No reviews, on sale for $5.84, down from $7.79, developed and published by Neon Wizard Games. Goblins is a goofy strategy action game. You command the Emerald Goblin Army, attempting to defeat the Ruby Goblin Army and win the Great Gold War. Battle through 20 unique campaign maps and continue your progress in free play and sandbox game modes. Okay, so we have one of those weird, like, line games? I don't know what to call these ones. I've seen a couple of them. Some of them are sort of more tower defense-y, and this is kind of tower defense, except that you're buying minions that go across and like fight each other. I think the little the art of the goblins is pretty cute. I think they're kind of cute, but not much going on in terms of the story page. The game itself looks very, very, very basic. Let's check their charts real quick. Sorry, I'm hiccuping here. All right, 8 followers. Not very many. Store page went up 15th of February. All right, low estimate is 0. I think my high estimate is going to be 1. Yeah, that's going to be my guess. All right, moving on to GunnRunners. GunnRunners has 1 positive review, no negative reviews, for a total of 1. It is for sale for $16.99. Developed and published by Pixelcast Games. Chrome, you disobey me. Okay, here we go. This is an action platformer, Bullet Swarm, with an emphasis on skilled movement. Plow through each enemy in your path, or skillfully dodge the onslaught of bullets. Venture into the constructed world of machines and destroy every guardian. Do you possess the power to halt annihilation? Good question. Kind of curious that they are talking about like bullet swarms when so far the only person with lots of bullets has been the player character in the trailer. Looks like they have a built-in level editor. That's always kind of neat. Okay, it's very level-based. It's definitely not really a bullet swarm game. Like it's not a bullet hell game. Lots of early access reviews. So this is coming out of early access. Interesting. So it did end up with 6 positive reviews. in general. So it seems like people are liking it. All right, let's check the charts. I'm guessing this is very old considering the Steam ID. Let's see, when did this come out? Yes, very, very old. So let's check their update history. Okay, store page went up March 8th, 2018. So up for a very, very long time. Never got more than 8 followers in that time, so extremely, extremely low followers per day. Yeah, all right. Well, my guess is probably this one is going to stay where it is. I think my low estimate is 1, my high estimate is 2. Yeah. So someone just saying like, yeah, we're done. This is at the 1.0 version of this game. Fair enough. Pixelcast, have you done anything else? Nope, just this one so far. All right. Looking forward to seeing what you do next. Our next one is a public release of a VR mod for Half-Life, which is kind of interesting. I'm guessing they're doing this with Valve's permission because they're putting it up on Valve's platform. So, return as Gordon Freeman in a new VR adventure to CD17 and beyond. Deal with the consequences of your actions in Half-Life 2 with this community-made adaptation of Episode 1 to glorious room-scale virtual reality. So this is a virtual reality mod of the Episode 1 of Half-Life 2. Neat. All right. Community-made mod requires a virtual reality headset. Huh. All right, cool. This is kind of neat. They have got a bunch more reviews in the time since it went up. They picked up 7 additional reviews in the last couple of hours. So I think this one's going to do just fine. 131 people currently playing it. Only 26 followers. Did they just, like, release this right away? No, they didn't. Interesting. Okay, I'm guessing, because this is a mod, not a game, I wonder if you actually, if you still need Episode 1 from Valve to play this. Yeah, it is a mod, so it's not actually a game. And it's free. Gosh, I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna guess that this one's gonna do pretty good. I'm gonna guess it's gonna do pretty good. I think my low estimate for this one is gonna be 80, and I think my high estimate for this one is gonna be like 600. I think it's probably gonna do pretty well. Very cool. Source VR mod team. All right, our next game is also VR, but it's not a mod. This is Lockdown VR Forgotten Temple with no reviews, on sale for $12.99, developed by Zoom Games and developed by Lockdown Escape. Archaeologists claimed to have discovered an ancient temple that has been forgotten for centuries. All the Tomb Raiders are now trying to locate it, but you seem to be the first to find it after a long search. Will you be able to find any treasures before the others arrive? Also, you're a cute teddy bear. You're like a low poly teddy bear. And there are bugs. And apples that you can pick and throw on the ground. It's very weird that you're teddy bears. I'm very weirded out about that. It is online co-op, I guess. So yeah, you're exploring like an ancient temple as teddy bears. Real weird. Just very strange. Extremely simple store page. Let's see what the charts say. Okay, 5 followers. Store page went up on the, I put that in wrong, 2nd of March. So gave themselves like no time. Okay, my low estimate is 0. I think my high estimate, unfortunately, is going to be 1. I don't think that this one's going to go anywhere, despite the fact that I think tomb raiding teddy bears is an underrated idea. All right. Moving on to The Lost something or another. Lost Dream Darkness. Once the darkness rises above all, it's your time to take the reins and hit the ground running on a mission to discover the light once again. Alright, so we're a little tattooed fox, I guess. But we have glowy tattoos, and we run around in forests. Very sort of foggy forests. Alright, cool. It is for sale for $2.52, down from $3.89, developed and published by Morning Shift Studios. It has 2 positive reviews. Okay, a little unclear as to what the actual goal is. Like, it's unclear to know where you're going or what you're doing, really. I think this one does suffer a bit from a comprehensibility gap. Losing my ability to speak. Okay, went up on the 24th of February. And they got 9 followers. So not many. Okay, I'm going to say my low estimate is 2. I think my high estimate is going to be 5 on this one. Doesn't look bad, but does look a bit confusing, and that's generally a problem. All right. Moving on to our next game, which is MDF, Magical Defense Force, and not Medium Density Fiber Ward, which is what I immediately thought of. MDF has no reviews. It is for sale for $11.79, developed and published by Making Delightful Fiction. MDF, Magical Defense Force, is a unique story-focused magical girl visual novel featuring a cast of strange and entertaining character, monster of the week action comedy, a rocking soundtrack, and artistically rendered fight scenes. And yet, the trailer has us start with this computer thing. Okay, so computer thing, and then we got scary eyes. Lots of different art. Okay, and yeah, it's a visual novel. Neat. Alright, I like the character designs, they're very cute. Very, very tiny store page. Let's see, and no reviews. Not much to see here, unfortunately. Alright, let's check their charts. And they went up on the 28th of January. So didn't give themselves a ton of time, only got to 10 followers. So I would guess probably not a lot of promotion on this one. I'm also guessing this is probably coming off of Itch. Yeah, so this was already on sale for on Itch for a while. Where they also got no comments. So yes, I'm guessing very little promotion on this one. Okay, my low estimate is 0. I think my high estimate is going to be 2 on this one. Best of luck to the Making Delightful Fiction team. Okay, our next game is Mr. Hopp's Playhouse 3, which has 5 positive reviews and 1 negative review for a total of 6. It is for sale for $6.49, developed and published by Moonbit. Whoops. This is Mr. Hopp's Playhouse. I saw, I think, Markiplier play this on YouTube, or possibly play the second one. Moonbit, have you made a bunch of these games, or just... you have. Do they look similar? They do look similar, but they are not the same. Okay, so this one is in 3D. Whoop. Okay, 2 young girls must solve puzzles, avoid traps, and overcome hellish enemies to find the 6 medallions and put an end to the entity's reign once and for all. Uh-oh, there's a bunch of different kinds of monsters. That's kind of cool. I like the low poly look on this one. This is not like sort of generic asset store low poly. This is more like early N64 era low poly. Mr. Hopp's team has made a bunch of games. This one is... How did the previous ones do? Yeah, the previous ones did really well. So let's see if they can do it again. Mr. Hopp's Playtime came out Wow, 2019. I remember playing this game when it came out. It did really well. So let's see if the third one does similarly. So far, it's been doing okay, but not great. Let's check its charts. So they got a bit of Twitch play. I do remember, like, these games are favorites of Let's Players. I've seen several people Let's Play these games, but they did not get any followers. That's not too great. But they also didn't give themselves much time. February 11th. 2.24 followers per day. Not terrible, but not great. What am I going to guess on this one? Like, this is a fairly well-known niche indie horror franchise, right? In terms of niche indie horror franchises, it's one of the more popular ones. So within a month, I think my low estimate is going to be 10, and I think my high estimate is going to be very high, like 300, based off of their previous games. So yeah, that's going to be it. I'm uncertain how this one will do. It really depends on whether or not they get a bunch of organic traffic from Let's Players and stuff playing the game, because that is how the previous game sold. So best of luck, Moonbit. I hope you do well again. But I think that you probably could have helped yourself by doing more marketing. All right. Our next game is Off the Tracks, which has no reviews. No reviews, on sale for $5.84, down from $6.49. Developed and published by Lone Minded. Wow. All right. So this is the first. I can't remember the name of the name of the game that this is directly referencing. It was something like Bus Jump or something, where you were jumping off of trucks, I think. I can't remember. Anyways, this is the first time I have seen anyone try and make a game inspired by that game. This looks very, very similar to that game. Interesting. All right. No reviews, very, very tiny store page. It's bothering me. I can't remember what the game that this game is based off of is. That's going to bug me for a while. Hold on. I've got to look this up because it's going to drive me nuts. Game where you jump on trucks. Cluster Truck. That was it. Yes, this is the first Cluster Truck fast follow, I guess. Cluster Truck was like 2017 or something, though. Okay, only 10 followers. Went up November 14th, so they did have some time, but it doesn't look like they did much with it. Okay, I'm going to say maybe 0 and 2. I think what I'm learning today is really, if your game is a direct reference to other games, you have to make the argument, why play this game and not the other, right? And not your reference. And I think that's mostly a problem for games that don't have a narrative, right? If someone came out and was like, hey, I built a game that has identical mechanics to Chrono Trigger or something, right? But it's another 30-hour story, I'd still check it out, because maybe the story is good. I know the mechanics are good. The combination of the two is going to be interesting. Why not, right? But for a game like Off the Tracks, it's just Cluster Truck again. It doesn't look like they have anything other than that. And so the question is, if I wanted to play this game, why would I play this game and not Cluster Truck? And the marketing, at least so far, does not answer that question. All right. Moving on to our next game, which is called Pacific Strafe. which has no reviews, is on sale for $5.69. Nice, developed and published by Insane Software. Huh. Okay, fight through historical locations of World War II with one of 5 classic World War II fighters, sink battleships with the help of your wingmen, recapture islands with the help of your tank crews. Alright, so it's a top-down aerial shooting game where you're like shooting battleships. Interesting. Okay, it's in early access and there's no reviews. Now, curiously, like Pacific Theater games normally do really well, so I'm kind of surprised that this game has gotten no interest. 27 followers, and store page went up almost a year ago. Yeah, over a year ago. Or no, this is June 24th, not January 24th. Okay. Now 2023, 2022, so they had some time, but did not make much of it. Okay, so my low estimate is 0. I think my high estimate is going to be 10, because Pacific Theater games do historically do really, really well, so that's interesting. All right, getting towards the end here. My throat is starting to hurt. I am not used to talking this much. All right. Our next game, maybe? Let's see if this is a game. It's kind of a game. I think it's a simulation tool, maybe? It's not being classified as software, so I'm gonna take a look at it, I guess. It has no reviews. It is on sale for $11.04, down from $12.99. Developed and published by Poof. Experience the captivating complexity of chaotic dynamic systems with Parametric Engine. Easily create and discover your own mathematical systems that reveal intricate and stunning patterns. Personalize your cinematic experience to match your preference, NAND taste. So they got a space in the wrong place there. And that seems to be what it is. It's about sort of exploring and floating around inside of fractals. Interesting. Their charts tell us 2 people check this out. I don't know if I would consider this a game necessarily. I'm not going to say it's not. Store page went up on the 25th of January. And I'm going to go 0 and 1 on this one. I don't know if there's a great deal of demand for fractal simulators like this. All right. Our next game is Peppa Pig World Adventures, which has 4 positive reviews, 1 negative review, for a total of 5. It is on sale for $51.99, developed by Patoon Studios and published by Outright Games Limited. Now this one's interesting because Peppa Pig is enormous. Like, Peppa Pig is vastly popular. And so the fact that this game only has 5 reviews so far is surprising. So we got Peppa Pig and their buds, and it looked very similar to a Peppa Pig episode. What is the game? Okay, it is interactive fiction. It's an adventure game. Okay, so I'm guessing this is kind of like a little storybook with Peppa Pig and friends. Yep, and it has all of the voice actors. So what's going on with this one? Why is this one not doing well? Too hard, really. You played for 30 hours. Interesting. Huh. Patoon Studios, have you made another Peppa Pig games? Nope, that's this one. My Friend Peppa Pig, how did this one do? 410 reviews, so not great. I'm really surprised that this IP does not end up with better results, I guess, because it is really huge. Maybe it's just because it's on Steam, right? Like, I wonder if this is going to end up on Switch. It's on Xbox Game Pass. That's interesting. Yes, it is coming out for Switch. So I'm guessing they will sell a lot more copies on Switch. Okay. Let's check their charts, though. A bunch of people checking it out on Twitch, but only 142 followers. Very, very low for a game like this. Went up on the 17th of December. Very surprisingly low. Very weird. I mean, I gotta put a low estimate of maybe 10? What? 8? I don't know. Like, because I'm gonna put a high estimate of 250, I think. Weird. Weird. It's very strange that this does not have a lot more. All right. But yeah, like 100%, that game is going to make most of its money on Switch. I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess that. All right. Our next game is Pleh, with an exclamation mark. Pleh, which has 11 positive, no negative reviews for a total of 11. It is a free-to-play game by Jester Games and published by the same. Pleh is a short psychological horror walking simulator that tells the story of a depressed game developer, his intrusive thoughts, and his mysterious secrets. Oh no! Okay. It is a walking simulator. Ah, okay. So this looks depressing. Let's check their charts. 9 people are currently playing it. A little tiny bit of play on Twitch. Went up on October 22nd last year. Okay, how many followers did this get? 34. Not very many compared to the number of total reviews, but it is a free-to-play game. Okay, I'm going to guess low estimate is 15. I think my high estimate is going to be 60, because it is free-to-play. All right. Moving on to Quantum Gravity, which has no reviews, is on sale for $6.62, down from $7.79, developed and published by Eternal Studios. Quantum Gravity is a space-themed bullet hell action game. The game's main mechanic is inverting gravity to hover through space, including long-range fights, but also melees fighting. QG has a variety of enemies to fight against, but also 4 game modes, including an infinity game mode and multiplayer PvP. Okay, so we've got some very vibrant, colorful neon graphics. I think we're this box. I think that's the player character is the little rainbow box. All right, interesting. Charts, please. Only 4 followers, not very many. And the store page went up August 13th last year, so they had some time. Okay, I'm gonna guess 0 and 1. Unfortunately, these kind of games often do not don't do very well. I'm gonna wish Eternal Studios good luck. Okay. Moving on to Running Riot. Running Riot has 2 positive reviews, no negative reviews, for a total of 2. It is for sale for $3.89, developed and published by Party Moose Games. Pick a class and blast your way through rooms of cyber enemies in this roguelite twin-stick shooter. Choose your abilities and your path wisely, because you've only got 1 life to make it through the gauntlet. Rack up those points and spend them on even more ways to riot. Okie dokie. So this is early access. It looks like this is a roguelike or roguelite kind of game. And yeah, it's very neon. You're shooting enemies. Unclear why this is called a riot, but you are shooting people. Okay, cool. Got some cool GIFs in the store page. I do like it shows the customization menu in the GIFs. That's cool. Huh. Okay. The people who liked it. Not many players, though. Okay. Only 12 followers. Not very many. And store page went up when? 24th of February. So, not a whole lot of time. Also does not appear to have attracted a lot of attention. Not sure about this capsule image. I do like the pink glowing person, and it does show the kind of game that it is, but I don't know. All right. I'm going to say my low estimate is 2. I think my high estimate is going to be 5 on this one. Best of luck, Party Moose Games. I hope as your game develops, it finds more of an audience. Moving on to RUSLICSTAN. RUSLICSTAN invades. I'm terrified that this is going to be a politics game. It has 6 positive, no negative reviews for a total of 6. It is a free-to-play game developed and published by Slam Away Games. Save Europe from shortage of crappers! ! The swamp horde of Ruslic savages is gushing out again. Yeah, this is a public. Yeah. Okay. Well, weird. Okay. Okay, 38 followers. Store page went up on the 6th of February. And what am I going to guess? I'm going to say probably 6 to 20, I think. All right, moving on. To a game called Shepherd, which has no reviews, is on sale for $6.49, developed and published by Unheard of LLC. Lead a small herd of sheep through the desert, ensure their survival by managing their needs, protect and save them from various environmental hazards as well as their own silly decisions. Bond with them over the course of your journey by fulfilling their wishes and be their shepherd. Alright. So you're herding a collection of sheep, like between different places for them to eat grass and stuff. Neat. It is an early access, but no reviews. Only 5 followers on this one. And store page went up on the 4th of March. Okay, so not very much time either. I think this one would be a tricky sell, but like not impossible, right? Like you have a bunch of cute little sheep. They have cute little faces. I think there are ways that you could pitch this game and it would do pretty well, I think. Again, not super great. This is not going to light anything on fire, I don't think, but there's ways of presenting this game in a way that I think would interest people, right? All of them have different needs. Interesting. Okay. As it stands, I am unfortunately going to go with 0 and 1 on this one. Best of luck, Unheard of LLC. We are getting towards the end, everybody. All right. Our next game is Shiner, which has 3 positive, no negative reviews for a total of 3. It is a free-to-play game by Team Shiner and published by DigiPen Institute of Technology. So I think this is probably a student game. Huh. Learn every attack, that gets used against you in this turn-based strategy game. Meet and battle a colorful cast of fully voice-acted characters as you search for the bully that wronged you. I'm digging the style. Like, the style is very kooky and weird. And you can equip attacks. So you learn attacks from your enemies as they get used on you, and then you can equip attacks to hypothetically fight your bully. All right, very cute. Simple store page. Game was developed as a student project at DigiPen Institute of Technology and was created for educational purposes only. Yeah. All right, cool. One of the definitely the more interesting student games that I've seen recently, at least. Only 11 followers. Store page went up March 2nd. I maintain that game educational institutions should be teaching people how to market their games. I mean, they have a lot to do, but I think it's important. All right, moving on to Souls of Tartarus, a game that has 1 positive, 1 negative review for a total of 2. It is also free to play. This one developed and published by Motion. Souls of Tartarus is a roguelite, Souls-like inspired top-down dungeon crawler. A gamble with the ruler of the underworld Tartarus gives you a last chance to be reborn. Can you defeat his generals that became lazy and set in their ways? No checkpoints, no saves, 1 run, 1 chance. Curious that it is described as a roguelite, because typically a roguelite is a game where you do keep some of your resources or experience between runs. So the emphasis on it being a single run is a bit weird. The actual gameplay looks okay. I'm going to try and zoom in and see what the actual character looks like. It looks like you have a fireball for a head, so we're definitely going with some references here. I wonder what the 3 hearts by the person mean. If they're representative of health or something. I don't know. Hard to say. It's interesting that it has both a demo and a free-to-play version. That's interesting. And Edward continuing to have a normal one. Okay. $15 followers on this one. Store page went up the 15th of November, so they had some time, and do not appear to have capitalized on it at all. Gosh, what am I going to guess? I'm going to say probably 2 as my lower estimate. I think my higher estimate on this one is going to be 10. It is free to play. You know, it's free to play. I'll say 30 for that. All right, good luck, Motion. Our penultimate game today is Toy Tactics, which has 8 positive reviews, no negative reviews, for a total of 8. It is for sale for $22.09, down from $25.99, developed by Kraken Empire and published by Joystick Ventures. Toy Tactics, the ultimate quest for glory. Draw formations on the battlefield and direct toy troops to surround, deceive, and outsmart your rivals. But beware, when contenders collide, physics will send helmets flying, like a scene out of a cartoon. Lead your army to victory on the wobbliest strategy game around. Okay. It is a little physics-based game, but rather than ragdolls, I think they're like little sort of chess pieces. Interesting that the emphasis is on like drawing out formations on the battlefield. I think that's kind of cool. This looks quite elaborate and interesting. It is an early access game. Looks like people quite like it. 2.4 hours, 5.8 hours, 3.8 hours. Cool twist on the RTS genre. I agree. Does look kind of cool. Okay, let's check their charts. Only 3 people currently playing it. Very tiny numbers on Twitch, but there are some. 396 followers. Store page went up a while ago, 9th of October, 2021. So not great followers for a day. I would say it looks like they have long periods with very little promotion. I think this is probably a festival, which did very well for them. And then again, another long period of very little promotion. And then we get a spike at the end, which represents like launch promotions. So, as I often end up saying, your promotion should be continuous. Okay. What am I going to guess on this one? I'm going to say my low estimate is 10. I think my high estimate is going to be 60. I might get there. I'm hoping it gets there. Nice job, Kraken Empire. Your game looks neat. And moving on to our final game, which is called Vacuum, which has no reviews, is on sale for $25.99. Developed by One Brain Indie Games and published by the same. 3D first-person shooter in which, by chance, an astronaut gets inside the Earth's satellite moon, in quotation marks, teeming with various alien monsters. That, despite appearing to be a sentence, did not really make any sense. Survived to the overpowering music in the style of metal, exclamation mark. Okay, is there metal music? Let's see. There is some. Alright, so yeah, looks like a shooter where you have a number of physics toy powers, and everything kind of floats in a way that it would not on the moon. The enemies seem to be mostly kind of brainless. I don't know. Doesn't look bad. You've got one review from a free review copy. Why to run? There are lots of objects all the time in the background. The thought that I missed something. Needs a cleaner interface, some notepad with the current task and previous completed ones. Huh, interesting. Okay, so there's no sort of, there's little guidance on what to do. Okay, well, let's check their charts. No players currently, 2 people playing at peak 9 months ago. Is this a 1.0 release? It's a some kind of release. Added music and videos. That is the entirety of the release information. So I think this is a 1.0 release out of early access. Maybe? Because it's no longer in early access. And this was yep, okay, so this is coming out of early access with no reviews. Okay. 43 followers. And when did this show up on Steam? Showed up on 10th of February 2022. So that was some time ago. Okay. Very steppy chart because of the relatively low number of followers. Okay. Low estimate. What am I going to guess? I think I'm going to go 0 and 1 on this one. Best of luck to One Brain Indie Games, and best of luck to everybody in my audience, who I think most people have already left, but that's okay. Have a lovely Saturday afternoon. I am going to go take a walk before the last of the sunlight goes away. I wish you all a lovely week, and I will see you again next Saturday. Bye.